Welcome back to the TGI Fantasy Football Podcast. This week for Week 12, we have some brand new segments, including a new one that's going to be a regular for the rest of the year, or regular season, I should say. This week, we're back with your two hosts, that's Spencer Jones and Jackson Grant. And this week for our guest, we have Eddie Morlock Hobson. If you want to introduce yourself.
What's going on? I'm Eddie Morlock Hobson.
That would be Mitch Walsmith, actually, and that's because I texted Eddie 2 or 3 times over the last week, and he gave me no response as to if he wanted to be on this podcast. He did say he wanted to be on the podcast, but he didn't give me a time or see if the times worked with us. Eddie, shame on you. Anyways, Mitch is going to be joining us this week, and he is going to be coming back with his own new guest segment that we will get to at the end of the podcast. So, Mitch, I see that you want to start us off today. You can take it away.
So, before we begin, I would like to read off a prepared statement. After consulting with my legal team and searching through a plethora of documents, I would like to announce that I am officially not mentioned by name or nickname in the Epstein files. Any suggestions to the contrary that come out over the next few days are baseless speculation and will be treated as slanderous or libelous material. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mitch. We're going to get right into our Week 11 review. Now, before we start our review for the week, I do want to preface that if you saw the standings that I sent into the chat, those I can confirm after double checking are accurate. I understand that ESPN is claiming that certain users in the league have clinched playoff berths or have been eliminated from the playoffs. This is incorrect, and ESPN is inaccurate. So going forward and on this podcast, we will be referencing the playoffs accordingly. Our first game of the week was our game of the week between Aras and Nagel. Aras gets to 9-2, claims the top seed over Nagel by dropping 177 points on Nagel. Nagel, I think, might have been the second. He was the third highest scorer of the week, so that's a bad beat for him. But Aras, there's no stopping this man. He didn't have a top scoring week all year, and now he's put up back-to-back scoring weeks. So the really funny stat of the potential of him being 0-9 to start the year is out the window at this point. But he put up so many goddamn points by starting Evan Engram, Michael Wilson, and Sean Tucker. And without any context, I feel like a normal football fan would have an aneurysm. I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand at all.
When you look at his team and how many fucking points they put up, if we continue with our trend of how many or what percentage of this team's points did Jonathan Taylor score, as he was on bye this week, he scored 0% of Aras's points, and despite that fact, Aras still scored 177.86. 178 points without the number one fantasy football player.
Yeah, at this point, we need to be asking what performance-enhancing drugs are Aras's team using, specifically as bench players. Every single time he has a player coming off the bench to fill in for someone, I feel like they go for 30 points. I don't understand how all his boom-bust players are booming every single time. Evan Engram is the first example of that not happening, and he still put up, it was either 9.3 or 9.7. I don't remember off the top of my head. But when that's your worst and everyone else is scoring 20 or more, that's ridiculous.
His worst player scored 9.7 points.
I think his kicker had less.
Okay. I was going to say.
But he only had 2 players score under double-digit points, and it was Evan Engram and his kicker, and everyone else went off for like 20 plus.
Devon Achane had, what did he have, like 27 points, and his team only scored 16 points in real life? Like, that's stupid. He had 21.5, my bad, but like, I don't get it. Sean Tucker just had the game of his life. He had 3 touchdowns. Yeah, it's like, Mitch, what have you done, man?
What the fuck?
Like, this is him without Jonathan Taylor.
To apologize, I just wanted to beat the can only win with Jonathan Taylor allegations. I did not want to cause the apocalypse. I don't regret a thing, but I did not think through the implications of giving the best team Jonathan Taylor. I did also see a quote earlier this week from a 7-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton saying Alex Russell domination, quote, could bore fans, end quote. So that's really interesting. I mean, he's getting real buzz out there in the world just because of how stupid this team is.
How did it take 4 minutes for you to make an F1 reference? So we're looking at the notes right now for this podcast, and Mitch, it just says, I wanted to beat the allegations. And I thought he was talking about the trade allegations with A-Russ. And so I was going to say something along the lines of, you made it worse. So I'm glad you clarified that point. Yeah, like, Mitch, it's not the fact that you traded Jonathan Taylor to the best team in the league. It's the fact that you didn't like gain any tangible benefit from it.
2
Like
free wins.
you could have, for Jonathan Taylor to the best team in the league, you could have milked A-Russ dry. You could have drained him of bodily fluids and just been a made man. Made as in MAID. And instead, you're sitting here with Josh Jacobs and swapping 12th round picks, which you might actually lose out on that based on where you are in the draft order. So I don't understand how things got from bad to worse.
I mean, I don't see it that way because it's working out for me so far, despite the injuries, I guess. And drafts are in the future, and I just like to think of the present. Really, what Alex does at the top of the leaderboard here is not really of concern to me at the moment since I've already faced him. And also, Alex, every time he faces me, it's just kind of like God flips a coin.
God is dead, and you traded him away for a bag of peanuts.
How could you say that what A-Russ is doing at the top of the leaderboard doesn't affect you? You're in the 5th seed now. It does affect you.
I didn't expect to get this far, and now I don't really know what to do about it.
If you win your first game, you have to go up against him if everything stays as it is.
Yeah, and as we know, A-Russ, when he fleeces me with trades, eventually it backfires on him spectacularly. So I'm just kind of banking on that happening again.
You bank on the fantasy football gods, and every single time it bites you in the ass, I swear.
You told me to bet on the fantasy football gods.
They did not bet on you.
I mean, I don't know about that. I'm 6-5 with this shit-ass team.
Yeah, and you got to 6-5 by beating Andreas in the Madeline Bowl, and I think this is the second time that one of us has said that a win of yours made us want to gouge our eyes out. Mitch, run us through this one because this game was disgusting.
Yeah. So first of all, I kind of dominate Andreas. I kind of mogged him. Not in this game, but just in general. I lead the series 4-2. So I mean, obviously Andreas is the better fantasy player than me, but something about him versus me just doesn't really add up when it comes to his team, which I find really interesting. In fact, I think Andreas was my second ever win, and the other one was Logan. So, I mean, he doesn't even count. So that's interesting. I don't know who is more of a kryptonite, me versus trading or Andreas versus me. Additionally, I'm happy to say that Josh Jacobs' knee is probably fine. He might even be back this week, which would be cool.
You are lucky.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Obviously, I'm lucky. We're definitely not arguing that.
I was ready to kill you when I got that Travis Hunter notification. If Josh Jacobs' knee would have exploded, I don't know what I would have done, but it would have been unspeakable horrors to you.
Yeah, when I got the original notification that he was undergoing MRI, I was like, great, he's probably going on IR for the rest of the year. And then I find out it's week to week. But anyways, I was sitting there and I'm like, how did the worst trade in TGI fantasy history get worse? Yet, despite all of that, Mitch is fucking 2-0. He's undefeated since he's traded Jonathan Taylor. And
it's the spirit of the game. It is the spirit of the fantasy football system.
It's bullshit. Is what
None
it
of
is.
this actually matters. It is all random and just carried by stupid bull. It's like craps, man, or crops or whatever it's called. The roulette wheel thing. That's not what that's called roulette, but it's like totally random, Like, I mean, there is strategy you can employ.
The only difference is that we can't all win.
We can't all win at roulette. The house always wins. I gotta say though, like regardless of the jubilation I feel about winning in this game, it is a Pyrrhic victory at best. I had to be bailed out by the Cowboys defense, which is probably a fate worse than death.
Classic Mitch Wallsmith getting bailed out by his defense.
Yeah, the Cowboys defense too. That happened to me several times in my first season. It was just a race to the bottom that Andreas managed to reach the bottom first. I honestly, it is pretty amazing that he doesn't even have injury excuses. Like my RB1 got injured. His
RB1 got injured. He actually probably would have won if his RB1 didn't go down.
it did.
Which I guess was the same for you, but yeah, he has Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell, both the Steelers running backs, and Warren went down, and then Gainwell went for 30 points.
I would have killed myself if I lost to Kenneth Gainwell, man. Was this sacrifice worth it, though? I would say so. It has drastically reduced my chances of having to sprint around a track drinking a beer. So, I mean, that's pretty great. I will also like to say that there shall be a weeping and gnashing of teeth when you shall see Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, and you yourselves thrust out, and they shall come from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south, and shall sit down in the kingdom of God. And through that, I will never lose again.
If you go undefeated and make the playoffs, and even if you go on to just win a single one, running around a track drinking beers are going to be the least of your worries.
Mitch, if you win out the rest of the year, you can have the league.
There are last which shall be first, and there are first which shall be last.
Mitch is out here quoting the fucking Bible. And what? Yeah. No one in this league fucking gets more good karma for doing worse shit than Mitch. I don't understand. No one wins more by doing less. He's out here quoting scripture. I think Mitch is the TGI fantasy antichrist. Legitimately. If we're looking at the standings and Landon doesn't have like the most convincing playoff team you've ever seen. But then if you look over 100 points down from him, you'll find Mitch. Mitch is genuinely a full game's worth of points behind not even every team in the playoffs, but also like the three teams below him in the standings. Legitimately, out of every playoff contender, he is a full game's worth of points behind.
This is just how I play fantasy. Because every time I've tried to be good at it, I do bad.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like how come whenever Mitch has a good record, his team is actually kind of buns, but whenever he has a genuinely good team, he ends up in the toilet bowl. Like, every week I've brought this up where like Mitch's best season was 2 years ago when he had that's when like the Lions thing like really took off, but he was 6-8, but he was like fourth in points. So I just don't know.
I don't know how to explain it. It makes even less sense to me because I don't really know what's going on. I mean, you guys obviously also don't know what's going on, but yeah, I don't really have any, I don't have any comfort to offer you here.
We heard it there first.
This is just how it is now.
All right, well, moving on to our next game, we have the Wild Western Shootout. Cleo
Terrible
beat
name.
Logan and improves to 6-5 on the season and takes hold of the rivalry, improving to 5-4 against Logan. Logan is just kind of asleep at the wheel. He scored 69.8 points. Nice this week. Logan was asleep at the wheel and falls to 2-9, solidly in last place this season. Cleo did survive the TGI Fantasy Commissioner curse when we listed her as one of the potential rising teams that could make the playoffs. So now sitting at 6-5, she's solidly in the driver's seat for the playoffs.
So Logan lost by a good bit, and this is speculation, but he left 2 spots open on his roster. And considering that he's a huge Cardinals guy, if we're going based off the analytics, so one of those spots is a flex. He could have had, I don't even remember, he had a running back that went for 17.7. So there's another 17 points. I'm going to look up who it was real quick. Devin Singletary. And he's also a huge Cardinals guy. So it stands to reason that if he was really paying attention, he would have replaced Marvin Harrison with Michael Wilson, and that's a win. So asleep at the wheel is certain. A win was in the cards for him. But when looking at one of his seasons, so this is a stat that I don't really normally keep up with, but I did do a little bit of a comparison, and it's actually going to get brought up a few times. Spoiler alert. Logan is 5-6 against the median this season. And that's a better record against the median than Mitch has, who is in the playoffs. I just wanted to point that out.
Crazy work, Mitchell. Good
I
job.
mean, Sucks to suck. I'm really just amazed that Logan won this league one time. I guess he's a Cardinals fan. The Cardinals did that one time, right?
The what?
Didn't the Cardinals win the league in like 1918 or something?
The Cardinals have never won the league. Hi, guys. Commissioner Spencer here. I am recording this after the fact in humility to let you know that I have been humbled by Mitch here, and I actually got two very important stats wrong. I said the Arizona Cardinals have never won an NFL championship. They have won two in 1925 and 1947. And I also said that they were not the oldest team, which is also wrong. They're the oldest operating club since 1898, and they are tied the oldest NFL team because they were a charter member along with the Chicago Bears. So that is all. Back to the podcast.
That are they the oldest team?
No, they're one of the oldest, though. But yeah, they've never won an NFL championship, and they've never won a Super Bowl.
Okay, Logan, good job. You have a better record and championships than your favorite team, despite them having like 100 years on you. But yeah, how did he ever win this league? Like, he really did win the championship one year.
He solidly was hard carried by Christian McCaffrey in the year.
Man, that probably feels pretty
Pretty
good.
sure it was the year in between when you and I had him, where both seasons he only played like 2 total games. So the Christian McCaffrey dilemma that hit us blessed Logan.
Christian McCaffrey in person, I'm going Saran on his ass.
Yeah.
Saran killed RFK.
Going real political on this episode, Mitch, aren't you?
That wasn't political. He just died, you know?
Mitch is going to start talking.
Fine,
about
I'm going John Hinckley Jr. Nope, that's the wrong one too. Mark David Chapman. I'm going Mark David Chapman on his ass. He killed John Lennon, if you're wondering.
I don't know if it's better or worse than motorsports references. Anyways, after I have spent the first 3 games making fun of people, it's time for me to delve into despair, because the next game that we're covering is my loss to Ryan. Everyone else can rejoice because this is the last time this stat gets brought up. It is no longer true that Andreas and I have scored 100 points each and every week. We both failed to achieve that. So I can never bring that up again for the rest of the season, and everyone can stop hearing me complain. However, Ryan, I swear to God, at this point is just trolling. He's 4-7 now. I fall to 5-6. He puts up 122. I think he was 4th on the week in scoring. He was either 4th or 5th. He was ass for 9 weeks, and then he just started beating playoff contenders out of nowhere, and he's just trolling. Swear. He leads our series now 6-4. And how we're looking at this is, in my opinion, this was the bad ending for the 5-5 teams, where Mitch and Cleo both win, and Andreas and I both fall 5-6. That was the worst thing that could have happened, at least in my opinion.
The best thing that could have happened personally.
I was sitting here and I was thinking, where have I seen my team before? And it hit me while I was walking my dog at 9:30 p.m. 2 days ago. I am the reincarnation of the 2012 Philadelphia Eagles dream team with LaShawn McCoy, Mike Vick, and Deshaun Jackson, where they were talking all this shit at the beginning of the year about how they were the team to beat. And this is the greatest offense you're ever going to see. And then I'm pretty sure they started 4-8 and fired Andy Reid.
Make you Andy Reid?
Yeah.
I don't like the implications of what will happen in 4 years then. Or however many years it took them to win a Super Bowl after that.
I think it was 5.
7.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Anyways, I've about fucking had it with JJ McCarthy personally.
You mean 9?
Yeah. Mr. 9 himself. So fucking, I need the United States to fucking enlist this guy and send him to Afghanistan so he can overthrow the Taliban like he's out here overthrowing Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison and whoever Jalen Naylor, is that wide receiver 3? I don't know. He overthrows him. This motherfucker cannot throw. Ever since he took over as QB1 in that Vikings offense, my Vikings players have produced somewhere between jack shit and fuck all for points. I've had it. I don't want to. I'm sick of seeing 12 targets for Justin Jefferson and only 50 yards receiving. I'm about done with my rant. I've officially crashed out at this point.
You wanted to overthrow the Taliban government because he overthrows balls.
That joke got made though.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that's what it meant.
Oh, I was.
I read that in the notes earlier, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Sorry, continue.
No, I have prepared a statement from a very loving movie that I'm sure we've all seen. It was the first movie to my recollection that had 10 minutes of credits. We'll see if you guys pick up on it. There was an idea, and Jackson knows this, called Spencer's Avengers Initiative. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable players in Justin Jefferson and Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jaden Reed, Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara, Rico Dowdle, Justin Herbert, and Matt Gay, who just got cut on Monday, but I'm not going to mention that, to see if they could become something more. To see if they could work together when Spencer needed them to play to win the championship that Spencer's teams never could. But somehow this team has done worse than every other attempt that came before, and I don't understand. I don't know. This team should have been a slam dunk, and they're out here posting losing records. So, yeah, I started Nick Mullins in a playoff game one year, and that team was better than this team. Like I'm so over it.
As much glee as I'm taking over your downfall, I am going to be a bit sad to not see you be a round one exit in the playoffs this year.
You could just tank and let me into the playoffs and see it anyways.
Well, I think your team is doing so badly that like me tanking entirely would not actually like that would not guarantee your playoff appearance. You could get me and Cleo to tank and Andreas.
Cleo has her own demons that she has to beat in fantasy. I don't think she's gonna go for that.
That's true. I do too. I guess I don't. I have angels to beat. I think I am the demon.
Fair point.
Well, officially, I just want to say RIP to Spencer's championship window. It lasted a grand total of 3 weeks from week 1 to week 3 of this year. Week 3 being the week where I beat him, and he was malding for 72 hours. So there goes that chance. Spencer already has traded away some picks for next year, so I'd hate to be Spencer right now. And as I've said every week, dating back to the start of this podcast, I am a firm Ryan believer, and with this win, his path to the playoffs is only looking stronger. So go Ryan, I believe in you.
I gotta say, also, Spencer, I really appreciate that you decided to jump on the grenade that it turns out Amon-Ra St. Brown was this season, because it appears that he remembered his heritage, and he remembered that the last time his country tried to fight in a war, they ran out of meth 3 years into it. He seemed to run out of meth halfway through the season. He decided to recreate it on the football field. So I'm happy that I didn't decide to trade draft picks and my good players for Amon-Ra, and you did it instead.
Yeah, tell me about that. I could have had Wandale Robinson getting 12 targets a game.
I'm pretty happy about Wandale Robinson getting 12 targets a game.
He doesn't do anything with it, but
Yeah, well, it's points. He catches the balls sometimes, most of the time.
Amon-Ra gets assisted tackles.
That's true. Yeah, can we add points for blocking? Because Lions players would be insane on that.
That's not a thing.
Jameson Williams would get like 50 points a game if there were points for blocking.
George Pickens would too.
Well, next up we had Landon's victory over AK. Landon improves to 7-4, keeps his playoff spot, and AK is 3-8 and comfortably at the bottom of the league. This game did look pretty good up until Sunday Night Football, but AK's team kind of shat the bed, and my under hit, and AK is still under 1,000 points. Granted, he did have the kicker bowl. However, we are like 11 weeks through the season, so you'd think that he would be able to, in a full PPR league, eclipse 1,000 points. So next week we'll play the game of, or I guess this week, later on in this episode, we'll play the game of, is this the week where AK finally cracks 1,000 points? On Landon's side of this matchup, his team is still looking pretty uninspired, only put up 117 points, but that was good enough to beat AK and keep his spot in the playoffs, so good job, Landon.
His team, right?
You cut out Mitch what?
Landon auto-drafted his team, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's funny that like it's good, which is uncharacteristic of an auto-drafted team, but also we can't like think of anything to say about it week after week, which is also characteristic of an auto-drafted
That's why
team.
it's so boring. Yeah,
I know.
In my experience, auto draft teams actually tend to be pretty solid overall, but it's the common meme of like when your buddy auto drafts his team and the players that they said were going to be better all along are actually better than your sleepers that didn't hit. So yeah, his team is just bland. I did get to speak with Landon though, this past weekend when AK was on the podcast. We were talking about him and his whereabouts. He is indeed not in Texas. I can confirm he is still in the great state of Iowa. Yeah, I just wanted to provide an update to the league on that. Uh, Currently, Landon 7-4. He looks pretty solidly in the playoffs. Things could still go awry, but he has a lot of tiebreakers helping him out at this point. So there's not too much for him to be worried about. And we'll get to it later, but there actually is a clinch scenario for him this week, albeit it's pretty unlikely. Landon is currently on the Ryan Williams career trajectory that I talked about before. I'm not really going to go into it again, but the consistent playoff success of making the playoffs, I guess, but not actually doing anything in the playoffs. Landon and he's another team that I wanted to bring up the median record because he also has a worse record against the median this year than Logan does. And that I just want to bring that back to the point I made last week about how consistency isn't being valued this year and rather being a boom bust team is. However, it is pretty ironic that Landon scores between 110 and 120 each week and still has a losing record against the median. But yeah, that's about it. This is a pretty forgettable game. No one's going to remember this game in 2 weeks.
AK's point total is so low that he should probably still he should have an asterisk by his name for being 3-8. Like,
you should have an asterisk next to your name for being 6-5 with your point total.
Oh, we weren't talking about me. We moved on. Also, what's interesting is that I didn't notice this, but Russ is second in points scored, also after doing the kicker bowl.
Yeah, because you traded him the best fucking player in
He's
fantasy
only had him for
no
1
reason.
week, effectively, you nincompoop.
Yeah, and you know how many points he scored that week?
50.
He scored enough points to be off this next week.
Okay, I didn't think of it like that. Cut that part.
No, that's staying.
A-Russ's team is just on another level. If he hadn't played that kicker bowl, he'd probably be 100 to 150 points above the next person. If he's not your championship pick at this point, I don't know who is. Are you watching anime?
Are you talking right now, Mitch?
What is happening?
Grant fucking sucks in fantasy football. That's what's happening. He's 4-7. He scored 88 points. That's a racist number. He lost to Henry by 40 points, and Henry's team sucks. Uncharacteristically sucks, and Jackson still lost to him like a bitch. So, yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. And honestly, if I were you, I would probably, you know that dam by the Des Moines River? In the Des Moines River? Well, there's a
Can't
dam.
say I
If you
do.
just kind of wade in it for a bit, and I just, if I were you, I'd just kind of let the waters take me. I gotta say. It's by Luke's house. You can invite him over.
My favorite part about that whole rant was that Discord did not catch 90% of it. It just was
Mitch, you were cutting in and out, and we couldn't tell what you were saying for the first half of it.
It sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks were talking in another room.
Were you using a sound
a really
reflector?
Stupid voice, and I think it peaked the microphone.
Yeah. Anyways,
that's all I have for that one. That's all my thoughts.
Henry gets the win. This is the first leg of his 4-leg hot knife through butter parlay, as I'm calling it, where Henry's just gonna turn through the 4 worst teams in the league to end his year, and he's got a pretty good shot at the playoffs because of it. That being said, this game will definitely be forgotten by Thursday. There's not much to talk about. This game went probably about as we expected it to. But something that I just wanted to bring to light is that Jackson's now 3-6-1 by my tally against the Seahawks backfield. Him having both Kenneth Walker and Sharb. He's lost 5 in a row. He started the year pretty good predicting, and then Kenneth Walker decided to do nothing.
Be a terrorist.
Yeah, I don't know anymore with that backfield, but Jackson's a victim. Anyways, I don't have much more to cover about that game Do any of you guys have any final thoughts?
So
The final game of the week was between Cam and Eddie, and oh man, Cam is now 4-0 against Eddie. Cam drops a 140 burger on him, gets 8-3. Eddie falls to 4-7, and the same story as we've had in 2024, 2023. Eddie's team looks really good for part of the season, and then there's just nothing. It just as quietly as it was good, it slips away, and this is probably going to be another forgettable season. Eddie really loves that goddamn bottom bracket. Like, I don't know. He's back down there again. Cam essentially secures himself a playoff spot.
Cam is an
He's
Eddie merchant.
Cam is one of the people I was talking about in the opening segment where I was talking about ESPN claiming that he had clinched. Cam hasn't clinched. If he goes 8-6, he can theoretically tiebreak out. The reason that they have him listed as clinched is because he has a 99.999999 infinite percent that it rounds to 100 and it registers him as in. Same with AK being eliminated, where it's so below a 0.01% chance that it registers as 0, but there is still a chance. Yeah, Cam is another one of those teams that's just firing on all cylinders, and Eddie drops 90 points after last week. We had just praised him for 6 straight 110 plus performances, back to back 140 plus, I think. Yeah, you said it, Mitch. Cam is an Eddie merchant, but more importantly, Eddie's just a merchant of the system.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of sucks. Like, we talked a lot about Eddie rallying for one final playoff push and how he'd been really consistent this year, but due to some injuries and just some unfortunate matchups, he really couldn't catch a break. And now it seems like his consistency's just fallen off, and whatever chance he had to make any sort of playoff push has gone down the toilet. So it seems like Eddie is in for a third straight toilet bowl appearance, which is really sad to see.
I gotta say, on the bright side, Jameson Williams is good again. I mean, it doesn't seem to help Eddie that much, but he is good again. It's also really cute that Eddie has a player nicknamed JMO on his roster. I don't think there's anyone else with that nickname in the NFL. So he, even though he hates the team they're on, he picked him. And
You know who could have had Jameson Williams during this great stretch of play that he has?
me,
Is Ryan Williams.
oh, that's true. He could have. I mean, it doesn't seem like he needs him.
Yeah, that's true. I just wanted to throw that joke in there. I'm still a little sad. And we'll go right into our Mitchell Wallsmith GM lowlight of the week.
Recircumcise you.
We had a lot of content to go through this week, including a finalist once again for his management style was Logan Weston. However, our winner going back to back for the exact same reason as last week is going to be the man that the award is named after. It's Mitchell Wallsmith for trading Jonathan Taylor as things just look even stupider now that Josh Jacobs is hurt. Likely won't play this week, but it's still to be seen. And just until anything turns around or until the season ends, whichever comes first, we're just going to go weekly and look at the amount of points that Jonathan Taylor has scored versus Josh Jacobs and Travis Hunter combined. And currently, through one game, Jonathan Taylor has over 50 points, and Jacobs and Hunter through 2 games have 21.5 points. So Jonathan Taylor is what is that math? Just under 2.5 times Jacobs, because Hunter's not playing through.
Both of them.
I don't. I'm exacerbated. I don't want to go over this anymore. Mitch, you win the award.
Has anyone ever won the lowlight
for
of the
this
week
stupid trade
award 2 weeks in a row?
I think you did it
When?
twice. The first 2 weeks, and then no, wait. The second week I gave it to someone else. I think
Okay,
I gave it to
better
Ryan.
question. Has anyone ever won the lowlight of the week award 2 weeks in a row while also winning both of those weeks?
No, because the award's only been around for like 4 or 5 weeks.
I rest my case.
You're setting records, Mitchell.
This is a pretty good
Just
record.
Not the good ones.
You are setting records.
I think winning GM the lowlight of the week. I mean, I live to rise against the system, you know.
Mitch might be 3-0 in weeks that he wins it. Let me check if he won it the first week.
What did I do the first week?
I don't think he did actually. I think he lost. I don't remember. Probably something really dumb.
It was when I asked you for. No, I lost. It was when I asked you for advice on who to play and then played the wrong person.
Yeah. Now, granted, I gave you the wrong advice, but you're the one that took it.
That's true.
A new segment for this week is Spencer's stock market. So I'm going to give you stock that I am buying and selling on owners throughout the league. My first buy on this podcast is I am buying stock on Henry Gonzalez. He showed out this week. He's 5-6. And I mean, we've talked 2 weeks now about his remaining schedule. And all he has to do is show consistency. His toughest battle is probably going to be against Ryan this week because for some reason Ryan is playing like a playoff team after, I think, having 6 straight weeks of being under 100 points earlier in the year. But alas, Henry is looking increasingly likely to finish at least 7-7, and 7-7 might be. Actually, not even might be. It's looking increasingly likely that that's going to be good enough to get into the playoffs, and he just has to find a way to tiebreak in. He might run the table, go 8-6, and he's almost guaranteed to be in at that point. But yes, Henry's stock is on the rise after looking pretty low earlier in the year. Someone that I'm selling on, I think, is the easiest sell of all time, and that's Eddie Morlock Hobson. The playoff chase was never on. The projections were wrong. End discussion.
I just want to remind everyone to sell their stocks of Eddie Morlock Hobson, as us inflating him as a playoff team was kind of a meme, and I don't want anyone to be Mitchell Wallsmith and hold on to their stocks too long.
Sell
and lose
GameStop.
money.
It's not going up.
So that's actually interesting, Jackson, is that we didn't curse a team. We didn't talk about a team extensively or intentionally about a playoff run this week. I guess de facto it's probably Henry, but yeah, so maybe there's no curse for this week, but it appears that Cleo might have broken it. If we want to look forward, we can get right into our Week 12 preview. We're going to start off with our game of the week. And originally, this was going to be Landon and Nagel. But after extensive thought, I have decided to move the game to the D-Series championship between Mitch and Cam. Both teams have a winning record. Both teams are in the playoffs. If like Mitch and Cam are playing straight up, they're both 2-0 in the series. The winner is going to take home the D-Series championship. The technically inaugural, even though we've retroactively tracked these championships, Mitch is the only one that hasn't won it. Could this be the year that he does it? We'll see. Mitch is 2-1 against Cam, and this was just not on my radar earlier in the year to be a game of the week, but here we are.
Well, it was on my radar. I mean, this is what I've been preparing for the entire season. I have a message specifically for Cam. Wir sollen über das Typ des Bier du möchtest besprechen. Ich kann eine Gruppenchat zwischen dir, mich, AK und Jackson später machen. Ich denke, das ist die beste Idee für Koordinationen. Ja, Koordination über die Series enden und das Winner in dem Series.
I am not subbing that, by the way. Everyone else.
We'll just leave it then.
That's covering the game of the week. Our MacGuffin game for the week. A-Russ finally has it in his possession after the dispute and kerfuffle from earlier in the year. He's going to go up against Eddie, so this might be what Eddie needs to get his ass kicked into gear for the rest of the season. These two teams have played 11 times. A-Russ leads 6-5. For anyone wondering, yes, Eddie was good at one point. So that's where a lot of this competition comes from. That being said, though, I have to welcome Eddie to 4-8. I just don't see it happening. Jonathan Taylor is back. I think it's good night for Eddie. Yeah. The next game, or probably the last game that we're going to highlight, is me versus Cleo, just because this is a huge game for playoff implications in the sense that so we have two bubble teams playing each other, and obviously there's two ways, technically three ways this could go, but a tie is so astronomically low of a chance. This is a very defining game for both Cleo and I. Cleo leads the series 7-5, and Cleo last week projected herself winning this week, particularly because I don't have Justin Herbert. However, if we're going based off of last week and the week before, not having Justin Herbert might actually benefit me because Justin Herbert didn't show up last week. Justin Herbert, the only reason Justin Herbert didn't have negative points is because they didn't let him throw the ball more. They only let him throw 18 times. Otherwise, he would have gone negative. Anyways, the first scenario is the one that I want to see, and that's that I win. We're both going to get to 6-6. I'll firmly throw the rod out there. I'll cast it, and I'll catch on the troll. and I will reel myself firmly back into playoff picture, and I will actually have tiebreak over Cleo, and it'll be very positive for me. And Cleo will still firmly be in the race, but will no longer control her own destiny, even if Mitch loses, because Mitch also has tiebreak over Cleo. Scenario 2 is that Cleo wins, and this is where it looks a lot more bleak, but the playoff picture becomes more clear as opposed to it being a lot more bleak overall. Cleo will be 7-5. Will lead all the bubble teams pretty comfortably in points and record combined, those two. And we'll have pretty much no worries of getting into the playoffs. Yeah. The other side of that is that I'll be a 5-7. I will need an actual miracle to get into the playoffs. And both of my games to end the year, Mitch and Andreas, I'm playing the 3 bubble teams back to back to back to end the year. They're all going to be win or be eliminated games for me. Now, if I lose to Cleo and I win the last 2 games, I am likely in because of tiebreakers, but there's no room for error, 0 room for error from that point on. But yeah, that covers the 3 main matches of this week. Jackson's going to take the last 4 and blaze through them pretty quick.
Yeah, so for the other unnamed matchups for this week, well, I guess this one has a name. We've got the Tank Bowl with AK sitting at 3-8 and Logan at 2-9. AK leads the series 5-4 over Logan. As a friend of the podcast and professional sports gambler, Luke Stokely Smithberg would say, slops on. Both these guys have a nuclear arsenal of picks for next year's draft, so while I might be bottom of the barrel teams this year, they're both looking to make some runs next year, so this could potentially be a championship or a way too early championship preview for next year. Following that, we have Landon versus Nagel. Landon sitting at 7-4, solidly in the playoffs, and Nagel's sitting at 9-2 as the 2 seed. Landon's team is going to do what Landon's team always does and scores between 100 and 120 points. No more, no less. So all Nagel has to do this week to secure the victory is get just over that at 120.01 points, and he can solidly take home the win this week. And on this week's edition of Bigger X Factor, we have Tyler Higbee or Colston Loveland. Who do you guys have?
Colston Loveland.
So Tyler Higbee is questionable, and even though he's in the Rams offense, I'm going to take Colston Loveland or whichever player that Landon picks up off the waiver wire, if I'm being honest. I just don't believe in Tyler Higbee.
I had him in Dynasty for too long to believe in him.
He's been there for like 9 years, I swear, because he entered, I think, the year before Henry Krager Coble did. The Rams drafted him out of Iowa, and then Tyler Higbee got there, and Henry Krager Coble actually won the starting job originally, and then Tyler Higbee just like Krager Coble, I think, got hurt, and then Higbee just proceeded to be the most average tight end you have ever
don't know
seen for
why,
9
but
years.
when I started like actually paying attention to football, one of the names I knew was Tyler Higbee already, which made me assume he was really good.
He might have been there long enough to have been coached by Jeff Fisher. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to look it up while Jackson gets through the rest of these.
Well, following that, we've got Henry versus Ryan. They're tied at 3 apiece in the series, and Ryan is going to look to try and continue his bleak playoff chances, where Henry is on the leg 2 of what we are calling Henry's hot knife through butter parlay as he goes up against 4 of the worst teams in the league on his road to potentially the playoffs. Ryan has been running through playoff contenders like shit.
I can take that if you want me to.
Yeah, I did not see that, and I did not know where that was going.
Ryan has been running through playoff contenders so far. Like,
Oh my god.
I don't know if you finished.
No, he
the
started laughing
line,
too
but-
hard.
Ryan's been running through playoff contenders so far. Like, shit runs through me the morning after I drink whiskey.
Hell yeah, dude. I don't know if you just heard me high five myself, but that was intending to be you.
I didn't know.
Wait. There we go. God
It's
damn
not gonna
it.
come through, Mitch. I'm sorry.
I heard it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't
Imagine
come through on
a
the
golf
recording.
clap sound just played for anyone on the broadcast.
Anyways, I just want to get back to you guys. I can confirm that Tyler Higbee did get coached by Jeff Fisher. That's all. We're going to get into our second to last segment here before right before our guest segment, and that's going to be one that we're going to be covering the rest of the year, and that's the playoff hunt.
Just in case Jackson cuts the noise, Spencer did just
Gentlemen,
open up another bottle of wine. I just heard it.
no,
Well, then what was that uncorking noise?
what are you talking about?
I think that was
No,
in your head.
I saw Spencer's mic light up.
No, I've been using the same bottle of wine. Yeah. Gentlemen, in front of you, you can see the standings, and I'm going to go through the clinch scenarios. Currently, our 6 seeds are Eris and Nagel, who have clinched already. They've clinched wild card berths. And then the 3 through 6 is Cam, Landon, Mitch, Cleo. In the hunt, we have Andreas, Spencer, and Henry, Jackson, Eddie, and Ryan at 4 and 7, and AK at 3 and 8. Logan is eliminated at 2 and 9. Our first clinch scenario is A-Russ having the potential to clinch a first round bye. This can be done this week if he wins against Eddie, and then either Nagel or Cam needs to lose. Nagel playing Landon and Cam playing Mitch. Nagel and Cam play each other next week. So if one of them loses, then that guarantees that at least one of them is going to have 4 losses on the year. So all A-Russ has to do is get to 10 wins, having tiebreak over both of them. So A-Russ could potentially be checking out 2 weeks early, so we could see some absolute shenanigans between him and AK in the final week with no consequences, basically.
Every fucking year, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. We have 2 people up for clinching a playoff berth this week. That's Cam. Cam either needs to win against Mitch, or Henry, myself, and Andreas all have to lose. Henry playing Ryan, I'm playing Cleo, Andreas is playing Jackson. Gonna be honest, it's not the most unheard of thing. The other one is Landon. Landon is in a similar scenario, but rather than an or, it's an and. He has to win against Nagel, and then Henry, myself, and Andreas all have to lose. Significantly less likely. We have a lot of elimination scenarios, and I'm gonna be honest. This is actually pretty not likely, but it's plausible that all 4 of these could happen this week. AK is up. If he loses to Logan, he's done. Or if Mitch and Cleo both win, AK's out regardless of what he does. Ryan, Eddie, and Jackson all being 4 and 7, they're all actually in the same spot. In order to be eliminated, they have to lose their matchups, and Mitch and Cleo both have to win. So that those are covering like the immediate scenarios. There are a few that we can look at going forward, but I think we're not going to get into that until week 13. It sounds like. That leads us right into our guest segment for the week. And this is going to be not something that Mitch maybe wanted to do, but we're forcing him to do. Mitch is going to be presenting to us, and I will do my best to include it into the video format for the podcast.
There's a visual element to this podcast, so don't watch it while you're driving.
He's going to be providing a PowerPoint to us, defending his ability to trade, and he's been hyping it up. So I have some high hopes for this, and I expect to be blown away, or else I am going to go full Mussolini, and I am just going to straight up ban you from trading for at least a year for your heinous terrorism acts.
What? Okay, well, this is new. Okay. Wait, one sec. I'm having technical difficulties.
I think this should be factored into Mitchell's case, and he should already be starting off.
Yeah,
negative.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not impressed with the
There we go.
ability to present.
Yeah,
That's the wrong
you're
thing.
like not really like showing that you.
That
want
is my
this.
mom. That is my mother's
Oh my God.
location.
What? Stephanie Flora. What are we doing?
Okay, I take it all back. Holy shit, bitch! You can make any trade you want. That was the best defense for a trade I've ever seen.
God damn it!
What are we doing, Mitch?
Hey guys, Editor Jackson here to explain the joke for everyone. Mitch ran into some technical difficulties while trying to present his PowerPoint to us because he is on a MacBook, and for whatever reason, when he tried to full screen it and stream it, it selected a completely different application, and for whatever reason, he had a zoomed in tab of his mother's current location on Apple Maps, which is what was broadcast to me and Spencer. So that is why you hear us howling hysterically at Mitch's defense for trading. That is all. Please enjoy the rest of the podcast.
No
Okay.
way.
Oh
I'm
my
just
god, I
gonna
fucking
share my
can't.
full screen, and I'm gonna put my computer on Do Not Disturb. It already is good. Okay. Welcome to my presentation, Why Mitch Should Be Allowed to Trade Guys, brought to you by Raytheon Technologies. So, first of all, this is very highly important to the discussion of why I should be allowed to trade. It is also very important to the discussion of how do you win a war in Afghanistan. So first of all, you need to the population conditions. So in terms of the quality of life of the general population of people and their own social, societal, and political beliefs.
Mitch,
Okay, you know what? This slide isn't actually that important. I'll move to the next one.
I
Yes.
have a question. I know how to
How do
stop
you
a
stop
war
a
in
war in Afghanistan?
Afghanistan. You send
And you
JJ
allow
McCarthy
Mitchell
there.
Walsmith to trade.
What does that have to do with JJ McCarthy
Mitchell
going to
Walsmith will
Afghanistan?
trade for
What if
JJ
Mitch
McCarthy.
trades
He
J.J.
will,
McCarthy to Afghanistan?
yes.
Oh, so what you're saying is you will trade him
I
to
will trade
Afghanistan
for
for
JJ
nothing in
McCarthy
return.
for a absolute ridiculous level of stuff. He will start balling out for absolutely no reason. I will trade him to the Taliban for a pittance. He will start performing terribly to the point that their entire regime collapses.
Oh, okay. I see
And
the
all of
vision. I
this
see the
interlinks
vision.
into that. There should be a part somewhere in there. I can't really tell because it's low resolution, but it does say JJ quote 9 and quote McCarthy. And the role that he has within this situation. It kind of all links back to him in this like web of spaghetti. But yeah, so there's that, first of all. Next part is why I should be allowed to trade guys. So Mitch is a smart guy who knows how to do things. This is a direct verbatim quote from everyone who works at Spencer's law firm. Um, I know this because they said it to me. They said it to Mitch. So there is that. Additionally, Mitch has never lost the toilet bowl as a direct result of a trade, which is a documented occurrence in this league at least one time, and I think more than one time. I wasn't able to go and find an example of it, but I know of an example. I'm not even going to reference it because I bring it up too often, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, in terms of when ignoring deceptive metrics, such as points for, as well as median income, GDP per capita, the Gini coefficient, all of those sorts of things, I have literally only benefited from the most recent trade that I made because I'm 2 and 0. I am 2 and 0.
How?
I wasn't 2 and 0 in the weeks before that.
You would have been 2-0 with Jonathan Taylor.
We don't know that.
We do.
No, we don't.
We
Yes, we
can see the
do.
It
point.
might have gone differently. Butterfly effect. Also, additionally, my
Future
previous
presentation.
trade, which was Romeo Dobbs for Wanderlei Robinson, was a benefit even in when taking into account deceptive metrics because Wanderlei Robinson has scored more points across the season than Romeo Dobbs. He also is I
Wandale?
don't care. Um he also averages more points than Romeo Dobbs, and also averages more targets, averages more catches, and averages more touchdowns. So I am actually pretty
Okay, but how many points do they have since the trade?
good question. I don't know. Additionally, according to
I will
Article
find that out.
5.1, Section 2 of the league bylaws, it is unconstitutional to require Mitch to consult someone else in the league for trading because it would result in potential collusion no matter what. Because either Mitch is Mitch is colluding because he's making a purposely bad trade with no perceived benefit, or the other person is purposely colluding because there's no way to not be self-interested when trading if another member of the team is doing it. And as far as I've been told, only league commissioners will be in charge of trading instead of a neutral party. And so that is a major issue that would be in direct contravenance to the bylaws set up by Spencer William Jones, Sir Spencer William Jones. And I don't think he really took that into account in this situation. Additionally, I think we need to have a discussion about Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan who?
Taylor.
Oh.
So, first of all, he's overrated. Second of all, he kisses his kids on the mouth. Third of all, he is suspended for the next game because he spat on a Pittsburgh Steeler last game. Additionally, he has immense amounts of CTE. There's always the chance that he just quits in the middle of a play like Antonio Brown did. And additionally, I saw him at a Diddy party freshman year, and Spencer and Alex were both there, so they should be able to verify it, but they both drank too much, and so they don't really have memory of it happening. But he was definitely there. He was talking to us.
What are you talking about?
You don't remember the Diddy party?
No, I do remember
Jonathan
it,
Taylor was there.
What else are you talking about?
And you don't remember because you drank too much whiskey.
What are you talking about?
And apparently he came out the other end the next morning.
Yeah, I can confirm that Jonathan Taylor was not
because
there.
you don't have any memory of that event.
I have memory of the event. I just don't have memory of
Jonathan
after
Taylor.
the
Obviously,
event.
you don't have memory of Jonathan Taylor being there because it was a pretty big deal.
He wasn't there. I'm not going to be
I just think it was a
you
bit
fucker.
problematic that he was at a Diddy party.
Mitch,
What?
did you kiss Jonathan Taylor on the mouth?
I'm not his kid, so no. He just fondled me.
Oh.
Okay, I can confirm that Wandale Robinson, since Mitch traded Romeo Dobbs for Wandale Robinson, that Wandale Robinson has scored like 5 more points than Romeo Dobbs has.
Okay. Solid evidence. Can't
All
dispute
right.
that. Continue.
Now, we also have to discuss the Star Gods angle. Now, be honest, how else would Mitch be 2-0 after that trade if there wasn't some sort of divine force at work here? And okay, I'm just not going to read the rest of this. I'm just going to let you kind of sit here and look at it for a bit. Anyone have any good jokes?
Yeah, I got one.
What?
Have you ever seen an elephant hiding in a tree?
All right, that's the end of the presentation. Thanks for watching.
Return of Samurai Mitch!
Just because you put Samurai Mitch in this presentation, you have my vote of confidence to trade next year.
Yes, I agree for the exact same reasons.
Thank you for your consideration. All right, that's it.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to the Week 12 TGI Fantasy Football Podcast with Jackson and Mitch. Next week, we will be back with a new set of segments and a new guest. It'll actually be Andreas, and normally I would hide that identity, but this time Andreas gets a special shout out just because I feel bad from being 5 and 6. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.